What did you think of the words of the Grand Mufti yesterday, where he was effectively blaming the victims, in my view?
Look, I was very disappointed, and I support what Peter Dutton has said today, and I would encourage him to, I think, to come out and say and clarify what his statement said. I was very disappointed for Australian Muslims yesterday. I thought Australian Muslims were let down by the Mufti yesterday, and the Imams Council, who I understand that statement was issued on behalf of. I think we've got into a much more, mature discussion about these very complicated issues. And I think Australian Muslims would have been disappointed in those comments. Certainly those who I have close relationships with were. I really urge him to listen to his own community on this and to reflect their views.
The first family of refugees from Syria arrived today, I think. I feel for them walking into a tense situation in this country. Can you, as a former minister in the area, be confident that these people, not just this family, but the 12,000 refugees are being properly screened?
I can be, because we have a very long history of doing this well. I mean, there's a big difference between people who are pouring across your borders illegally, as was occurring in this country only 2 years ago, our sea borders on those occasions, and what is happening in Europe, where you have hundreds of thousands of people just moving across the continent. That's not happening in this country, and it's not happening in this country because this government took decisive action and ended that. Now, the process we have to select people for this 12,000 has not changed since it was first announced under the former Prime Minister. It's the same set of parameters. We are focusing on those persecuted minorities, and that obviously includes a very large Christian component. In fact, the majority, I would expect. And that's because it's those communities who are at most long-term risk in the Middle East. I mean, Christians will never be able to go back to some of these countries for generations, and we're offering permanent resettlement. And so those families who are coming, I think they will get the warmest of welcomes. I think they'll get the best settlement services in the world, and they'll be thoroughly screened, and I think they'll make very good Australians.